All right. Welcome to our music Oddcast. My name is Kendra.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Lindsay.
And today we're going to be talking about Debbie Harry and the statement that she was approached by Ted Bundy. So
Just
take
really
it away.
creepy.
Yeah, take it away, Olivia.
I first wanted to ask, was she, I don't know if we've ever...
person?
Oh.
We'll decide at the end.
Yeah. But was she ever one of your influences? Because Kendra is a singer and she fronts a band that they're a punk. You would say that you guys are a punk band.
Punky.
Yeah. So that's kind of what they started out as too.
Yeah, I like Blondie a lot. I wouldn't ever say they're like one of my favorites, but
Yeah,
I definitely, yeah. I guess not, I don't know. I don't know if she's like one of my personal influences though. Mm-hmm. But I think I've been in bands where they were for other members. So that's kind of cool.
Okay, so Debbie Harry was born July 1st, 1945 in Miami, Florida. And she was actually named Angela Trimble originally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trimble?
Yeah, Trimble.
That's a great punk rock name. Why the fuck did she not keep
I know.
that?
And there's our token cool name for this episode.
Yeah, I really like the name
Trimble.
Angela.
Like there's
too.
something interesting about that. I don't know.
I
It's not tough, but I mean it sounds like
Neither
cooler
is
than
Debbie.
Debbie Harry.
Debbie's not tough.
Debbie's my mom's name, so I always think of like
Debbie is everyone's mom's name.
Yeah.
Deborah. Sorry, I don't know why. Gotta be from something though, right?
Yeah. She was adopted by Richard Smith and Catherine Harry when he was Richard Smith Harry, but and Catherine Harry when she was 3 months old. Her birth mother was a concert pianist, and she wasn't able to keep her. She was having a relationship with a man that ended up being married with a family. She didn't know, so she had to give the baby up.
That's sad.
I know, it is sad.
Like oh, I'm having a baby and I'm excited. And I'm like, oh shit, this guy has a whole hidden
Secret
family.
life. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. So Debbie graduated high school in 1963, and she did go to college in Hackettstown, New Jersey. She graduated in 1965 with an Associate's of the Arts degree. She moved to New York and in the late 60s, and she worked as a secretary at the BBC radio office, and then she was a waitress at Max's Kansas City, which was a popular club that bands played at, and then she was also one of the Playboy Bunny waitresses, that wore
I did read
like
that,
the little suits. Yeah, there's actually a really adorable picture of her in her little bunny
I saw
suit.
That picture. Yeah, I can definitely see her doing that, and also like being a secretary, like some power suits. Well, I guess I guess I'm thinking of her more like in the 80s though, which this is like the late 60s.
What did 60s secretaries wear? I'm trying to think of Mad Men, like what they wore. I think like a lot of the collared dresses and
collared dresses
and stuff like that.
I can see her rocking that.
The heels, yeah.
She's a cute girl.
Yeah. She began singing backup for the folk band The Wind in the Willows in the late 60s, and they released an album in 68 on Capitol Records.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys saw any of the pictures from that, but she has like long dark hair.
Dark hair, yep.
Yeah. Just funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah, she can pull off a lot of looks.
I didn't look up anything for this, so
Very, very pretty.
I'm going to be fascinated this whole time.
Yeah. I'm just reading my side notes, and I have a funny one coming up. It might not be funny to anybody else, but I'm definitely going to crack myself up with that.
I can't wait.
So she joined the group The Stilettos in 1974 with Elda Gentile and Amanda Jones. The band eventually added Chris Stein as their guitarist, and he became her boyfriend and future bandmate.
Yep.
Yeah. The Stilettos broke up in 74, and Debbie and Chris formed the band Angel and the Snake with...
What? Angel and the Snake.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That's just like that. That is like the dumbest band name. That is the dumbest band name.
There's some pretty dumb band names, though.
No, but that's one,
like, yeah.
Man, sorry, but I've been in some dumb sounding bands. I've been literally pissed at some of the band names of the bands that I've been in.
Yeah.
But Angel and the Snake, definitely
I'd like
super
to see
thankful at this moment
what one of their album covers would look like if they would have actually come out with any.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
I bet they would be funny.
I'm sorry. Angel and the Snake.
Your outbursts of laughter make me so happy.
Just my mind is going a mile a minute. I can't even verbalize what the pictures are in my head right now. It's just I'm thinking of Good Omens. I'm thinking of all kinds of ridiculousness, but also hair metal.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking of like the Rock of Love episodes where they had to like make an album cover for Bret Michaels. Oh. Like Angel and the Snake and like.
I'm thinking of like Metalocalypse where it was like Snakes and Barrels or something was the guy's like side project band and they all end up like on some like drug.
Like Crate and Barrel?
I don't know, but it was like they're all on some like bad like drug trip at the end and like all end up like killing themselves on stage and like the whole time the Death Clock or whatever was like making fun of them and like then they're like, I'm so sorry. That was super brutal. That was badass. Like, oh, I'm so sorry I made fun of you. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Side note, over.
So they eventually formed Blondie with Billy O'Connor from Stilettos and Fred Smith on bass. In 1975, they added Ivan Krall on guitar and Tish and Snooky Bellomo. Blamo? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Wait, Tish and Snooky.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Manic Panic hair dye? Isn't it Tish and Snooky brand?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it is.
It might be.
Yeah.
Well, Manic Panic started like in New York in the 70s, right?
That'd be funny.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's the like Tish and Snooky.
I'm gonna Google that
right now.
Yeah.
Let's do because I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
How do I not know that? I'm a freaking hairstylist.
Yeah, because you don't use Manic Panic.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think I ever used it, even back when, like in the 90s when it was really big.
Yeah,
mom,
it's Tish and Snooky's Manic Panic.
Yeah, my mom always helped me dye my hair with Manic Panic.
Bellamo or Bellamo, whatever. Yeah, it's them.
Cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was always very spotty, not like cool like streaks. It was like I would just have like a big
patch.
It just would not take evenly ever.
That's pretty dope. It's like, oh, okay, they were only in Blondie like for the original lineup, but then and then to leave the band and be like, oh, we're just gonna launch like a freaking hair dye empire.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So I don't know if I said this, but Clem Burke on drums and Gary Valentine on bass. So that must be... I was watching an interview with Debbie and she said that they kind of played up the whole Blondie thing as a character so they could kind of step away and... You know, she didn't have to really be herself and put herself out there as much, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That makes sense.
You know, rather, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like we talked about that a little bit with That's Me in the Corner. Okay, Arian. Yeah.
Kendra.
How he was like really
but
quiet.
like how he had to like make up like almost a fake persona for stage like to be able to perform.
Yeah,
so, like,
they
that's
say
interesting.
It's so, you know, you don't have to handle the rejection the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I get that. Like sometimes like
it's not like a personal rejection, I guess.
Right.
I'm not really myself on stage. Like I'm like way more hype.
Yeah.
And like dramatic, I guess.
I remember being kind of surprised the first time I saw you perform because, you know, you are just like very laid back and, you know, chill. And then you are like really energetic on stage.
Yeah.
So
and like just full of sarcasm and whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you are anyway, though.
Yeah, but like not everybody knows that about me.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to me for more than 10 minutes, then you'd be like, oh, that bitch is weird. But like everybody can see it on stage. But like if it's just like the casual acquaintance, like, oh hey, how's it going? Okay, blah blah blah. Just
I don't know what it's like to be your casual acquaintance. So if that makes sense.
That's legit. It was like 10 minutes, and then we're like, okay, we're best friends now.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this chick's pretty weird.
I like it.
So the band had a rough start. They were first considered the worst band to play at CBGB's. Yeah, well, at the time, Television was the pretty big band, and Patti Smith, Talking Heads, they were all playing there. So
I was gonna say, did they think that they like weren't like punk enough, or is that?
They said that they just kind of needed to. I don't know.
Those are some pretty big acts to follow.
Oh
there,
yeah,
but
sure.
Also, like Debbie Harry was like, so entrenched in the scene too. Like,
yeah, she hung out with everybody.
That and like the guys that started like Punk magazine. Like who like coined the term for like what was happening. They were always talking about like Debbie Harry was just kind of like the scene sweetheart or whatever. Like so like they always like had big photos of her because it would sell more magazines because she was a babe.
Yeah,
and they're like she was like basically like our centerfold, but like she wasn't like nude or whatever. But like she would sell the magazine.
Yeah, they said that they were sending out a ton of her photos before they were even big.
Exactly.
And getting in magazines just because she was so attractive.
Yep.
But in the summer of 75, they added Jimmy Destry on keyboards to record their first demo, produced by Alan Betrock, who worked with Marshall Crenshaw, Richard Hell, and the Smithereens. He had his own label, Shake Records, which was short-lived. They signed with Private Stock and released their first album in 1976. And they soon after bought their contract back from Private stock in 77 and signed with British British label Chrysalis Records and re-released their first album.
Nice.
Yeah, they blew up in Australia after their video In the Flesh was accidentally played. It was a B-side for the single Ex Offender, and it just got played on a show by mistake, and people loved it. So they like blew up in Australia.
I love stories like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they toured over there, and I guess fans even rioted after one of the shows was canceled because Debbie was sick. So...
Fucking pissed, man.
Yeah.
Blondie canceled. Have you guys ever been to a show like that and people were just like unconsolable?
I've never had it happen like while I was there. It was always, a couple of weeks before or something, but
I was never really into like the whole like screamo like stuff.
yeah.
Or like the emotional hardcore.
Yeah, me either.
It's
Right,
just
okay,
like
yeah.
yeah, whatever. It was just annoying to me at the time.
No,
and I was like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever.
It still is.
But I went down to this show in like Kokomo, Indiana, of all places, and it was supposed to be Me Without You, and they had to cancel for some reason. And like, I swear to God, it was like an entire freaking church full of like emo kids like crying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. And I was like one of the only punks there. Like it didn't fit the dress code. Like every girl there had like some generic band T-shirt on, but with like some homemade home ec dress, like skirt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
every single
Those days.
person
I
there
love
had a
skirts.
Chuck Taylor's, and everybody had matching glasses. And then I was wearing like a bright orange shirt and jean shorts and like some fucking Vans or something. And
Yeah.
I stuck out like a sore thumb. And everyone's like, "Oh, well, you don't get it because you obviously aren't part of our scene." Like, it was really awesome.
I always liked their dance moves.
Oh yeah, like like picking up the change and all that stuff. Yeah, it was really funny. I think I made fun of that show. I'm not even exaggerating this, for like a solid 5 years.
I don't think I ever even heard about this. I don't recall.
At
At least it's been a while since it's been brought up.
it was
so.
like when I was probably like going into my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary Valentine left the band in 1977, and they released their second album, Plastic Letters, in 78. It was a great success in the UK and did well in the US and Australia.
Good
and
for you,
then
Blondie.
yeah. And then they had a show. They were on a UK tour, and they opened for television. I guess they had a great performance that was really well received and kind of overshadowed them, which I find kind of surprising, but very cool.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
It's the band where everybody's just kind of haters on them in the scene, and then they're like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, then they-
he just kind of killed it.
Kids
Sorry.
are gonna slay.
Okay, Frank Infante. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He replaced Gary Valentine, and Britt Nigel Harrison began playing bass. Their album Parallel Lines was released in 1978.
It's a great album.
Yeah. Okay, so I just kind of like moved on really quickly and didn't talk about that album very much, but
That's cool. What's your favorite song from Parallel Lines?
Oh.
I'm gonna pull up the track list.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't even remember. I feel like everything I had from Blondie was always like best ofs and stuff like that.
But okay, it has Hanging on the Telephone, which is my
That's
favorite.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then Heart of Glass, One Way or Another.
Say that's got all the
That's
Sunday
like
Girl.
Well, that's like their breakout album too, because
Yeah.
like they were already like moderately successful, but when they
Right.
put out Parallel Lines, Heart of Glass was kind of like them like poking fun at disco.
Yeah.
And then it became like a top 40 hit, like insane. They're like, "Oh shit, okay,
Yeah.
guess we do disco pretty well." Pretty funny.
Yeah, they're
It's
pretty adventurous with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do disco. I'm gonna rap. Why not?
I know. I think it's hilarious when it's like Blondie was like an OG rapper, and it's like, what?
Yeah. So I know what my notes finally mean. So I was saying it was crazy that they released album Parallel Lines the same year that they released Plastic Letters. It was February and then September. So that's kind of big to have two albums out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is. That's a lot of songwriting.
Yeah. So their fourth album, Eat to the Beat, was released in 1979, and it was not as successful as Parallel Lines.
I
but
have a
considered
side note really
a
quick.
great
Sorry.
follow-up record. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like the only band like the OCs, like for a hot minute there, they were putting out like an album to two albums like every year for like so many years in a row.
Yeah.
Robert Pollard put
Robert
get
Pollard
him out
puts a
pretty
ton of
quickly.
stuff
Yeah.
too.
The OCs aren't their albums pretty short? No.
The OCs?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, like they'll have like full lengths like back to back, like in the same year. I mean, They've been active for a long time, but like I think they've slowed down with how many albums they're putting out recently. But like I have half of them, and then I was like, I can't even keep up, man. This is getting crazy.
I get that way with a lot of bands. Like, hey, I really like this band, but I don't need 18 albums that were released in the last 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, no, totally.
And yeah, Robert Pollard does a shitload.
He has like an entire section at our local record store at Unique Records. Oh my gosh, it's funny because it's just here's his section, and
he even shops there, right?
Yeah,
because he comes because they have some obscure stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty good about keeping some of the rare stuff that they get into the store in the store and not putting it on eBay.
Yeah,
so that people like locally have a chance to snatch it up.
That's really cool. Okay, so in 1980, the band recorded "Call Me," which was the theme to American Gigolo, and they received a Grammy nomination for that.
It's a great song too.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Stevie Nicks was originally supposed to compose the song for the for the movie, but she turned it down. And I guess the band also appeared in the film Roadie, starring Meatloaf around that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, like that would be like, can anybody really talk shit about that guy? Like
no,
that guy's
he's
cool.
in Fight Club.
He's in so many things. Like, and
I've never heard anything bad about Meatloaf, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, like, God, I remember like making fun of him when I was a kid, and that
because like the anything for love, and like the frilly shirt.
His name is Meatloaf.
I know. I think that's what always got me.
Yeah, but then like you watch Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you're like, okay, this dude's badass.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, I even like those stupid like phone commercials that he did a few years ago.
Oh, I don't know about those.
I don't know about those either.
The little song went.
Okay, so their fifth album, Auto American, was released in 1980, which featured the hits "The Tide Is High" and "Rapture," which we already talked about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they took a break in 81, and Debbie and Jimmy Destry both released solo albums.
I was just listening to that solo album on the way over here. I was like, maybe I should.
I know,
it's not bad. It's kind of it's kind of got some of that like cheesy 80s, like that white people reggae influence a little bit, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And the song that I left off on, there was some pretty terrible rapping. It wasn't her though. It was some guy. I don't know who.
Yeah. I don't know who it is either.
Sounded a little dated. It's fine. It was fun.
Debbie was appearing in films around this time, and I know she did. There was like that Warhol TV channel that she did some stuff for. Mm-hmm. She did some like voiceover, and I think she like starred in.
I didn't realize she has a lot of solo albums.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, and she's been in a ton of like little movies too, like little parts. All right, so Frank Infante sued the band, but continued to play with them, which I thought was kind of funny.
Power move.
Yeah.
That's some really passive-aggressive shit. Like, so what did they sue them over?
I didn't like get into that. I remember that when...
I'm sorry, I'm just like, this is amazing.
No, it's definitely really weird. When I worked at Sweetwater, there was a guy that worked there that he sued the company, I think, due to an injury. It wasn't like something crazy that he shouldn't have. But he continued working there in the warehouse for quite a while until he threw a knife at someone.
Tight.
Not a knife, one of those like box cutters.
Tight.
Yeah, I think it was. I think he threw it at Kevin Hambrick too.
Oh my God! Yeah. I'll have to ask Kevin next time I cut his hair. That's funny.
Yeah, I think that was him. But
oh my God,
that's a fast. Like, I was just reading like these like it was on Twitter like how I got fired stories.
Oh,
how I got fired. I threw a box cutter at a local musician.
Right. He was like a really happy, like nice guy.
Right.
I couldn't imagine ever throwing a box cutter at Kevin, but.
Yeah,
was it aggressively or was it jokingly and then he got caught?
It was aggressively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember being there when it happened.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't see it, but I like sat right outside the warehouse, so they came out and told me.
I wonder how his aim was, though.
I know.
Like, that's like not like a normal thing. Like, I mean, throwing knives and stuff, like that's hard. Like, I really suck at it. I used to be pretty decent at it.
Of course.
Well, okay, like I like picking up random hobbies, and like I also watch like, way too much anime and really like ninjas.
Yeah.
So the idea of like sword fighting in my front yard, like obviously that's a good idea. But then also like, shurikens and whatever. Like, yes, I want to be a Naruto. So
I would hurt myself probably.
Yeah, I don't think you could get a lot of like spin on a box cutter.
Yeah, it's like it's got that bulk of the plastic to it. So yeah, sorry, just really curious, like, was it a power move or was it just like a sad attempt? I'm thinking way too hard about this. Continue about Blondie.
Yeah.
Like, just like, I'm like already like thinking about like, do I have a box cutter at home? Can I test this theory? Like, sorry.
No, you're fine. So their first greatest hits compilation was released in 81. And their next album, The Hunter, was released in 82 and included Island of Lost Souls and War Child. They had a song rejected for the 1981 Bond film, and things weren't going very well with the band. Tensions began to rise as their popularity started to decline a little bit, and there was lots of drug use by multiple members. And some of them started to resent the focus on Debbie Harry. Mm-hmm. So
I wonder, like, okay, so I know that one of their managers for the band was the same manager as Alice Cooper.
Oh, that's cool.
I watched that documentary, Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. So, like, I know that Blondie was one of the clients that he picked up, but I'm, like, wondering.
Yeah, like when he worked with them?
Yeah, because this dude also, like, would win over clients by being like, here's a suitcase of drugs.
Oh.
Because, like, there's a dude that, like, was like, you're not my dude. And he's like, who do you want to take care of the money at the end of the night? And, like, he, like, kept up with the dude the whole time and was, like, way more on top of things, but, like, line for line and whatever. And the dude's like, oh, you're my dude.
Yeah.
Like, yep, okay. Like, I trust you. You will collect the money.
It does seem kind of weird, like, by the time the 80s rolled around, they were kind of, like, on the decline. Because I feel like that would have been a great time.
But if you think about,
too.
like, they got their start in punk rock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, and so that was, like, totally, like, 77. And, like, definitely the 80s, too. But by then, like, the punk scene had kind of moved on more towards, like, Black Flag. And, like,
but they were
a little bit more, like, aggressive forms of punk.
I just feel like with all their, like, you know, like, the pop stuff and the, that would have...
But I think that they hopped around so much that they didn't really have that, like solid following.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, it's like, you did, like, punky stuff, and then you'd put out a freaking disco album.
Yeah.
Like, so it's, I mean, some of the new wave kids would follow that for sure, but then, like, that was already, like, going through its metamorphosis, too, because you had the introduction of the first wave of, like, goth music and, like, all that kind of stuff, too.
Yeah, and I was thinking just more, like, mainstream-wise
into any of those subgenres.
Yeah,
they kind of, like, floated around.
They had their 3 platinum albums between 79 and 81. Mm-hmm. So that was, you know, their biggest time.
Exactly.
So I guess there were more threats of lawsuits, and then...
like, from the band members?
Yeah.
I love that. Like,
yeah.
It's like, why can't you just have a band fight?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just, like, talk that shit out? And like, no, I'm going to sue the band. Let's go play this gig.
Yeah.
Like, what? Quit, dude.
I agree.
Like, literally just quit the
band. I still want to know what these frivolous lawsuits are.
I know.
I should have looked into that a little bit more.
It's okay. I think I'm speaking for anyone listening to this, like, that is worth looking into. Like, we will probably all do that after this is over.
Yeah. Chris Stein was diagnosed with a life-threatening autoimmune disease called pemphigus, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, which was, you know, kind of the final nail in the coffin.
Were they still together at this point?
Yeah, they were.
I feel like they were together until, like, 86 or so.
Pretty late.
Yeah,
so they officially broke up in November of 92.
Oh, okay.
And they stayed together. She put her career on hold, actually, for a while to try to
I did read about that.
Help him get well. So she even almost, like, had a breakdown due to the stress of the situation because they had, you know, pretty, like, heavy drug habits around the time, and he was sick and not making any money, and she wasn't doing anything, so... They lost one of their, they had to put up one of their houses for sale. It was like a 5-story mansion to pay the bills.
Damn, one of the houses. That's really tragic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. but that sucks. Like, I get it. Like, they're used to a lifestyle. But at the same time, like, I can only, like, that's crocodile tears. You know?
That, and, you know, it's hard when, you know, someone's really ill and then they're talking about, like, their crazy drug habit. You know, I think that maybe that might be one of the first things you want to get over, but easier said than done.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've been talking about quitting smoking cigarettes for, like, 10 years, and it has not happened. So I can't imagine, like, being addicted to something more than that.
I was just reading, this is probably the most ridiculous thing ever, but I was reading that people that, like, carry salt around and, like, lick a little bit of salt when they're trying to quit smoking, like, when they have a craving, they do that.
Really?
But they have a better chance of actually sticking with it.
That's interesting.
Weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
How does that affect your blood pressure, though?
I know. So just, like, touch your tongue.
Like, cigarettes are pretty bad for your blood pressure anyway.
Yeah.
So, fascinating. Well, that's in the brain bank now.
Yeah.
I'll feel like a deer.
That's what I
know, right?
You're just, like, out in public and you're just like...
just licking my finger. People are like, Like, does she have a coke habit? No, it's just salt.
Carry around a little baggie of salt.
Yeah, like in, like in one of those necklaces.
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, like I didn't know that you did that. Like, no, dude, it's literally just salt. Like, is that a term for meth? No, like literally like table salt, dude.
Yeah. Scare everybody and just take the whole thing. See, no big deal.
So many good ideas from this.
So she revived her solo career. Don't have a date. Oh, I think, well, because we were kind of going back and forth a little bit on time, because I know we were just talking about the early 90s, but in 1988, she released album Cuckoo in 1981 and Deaf, Dumb, and Blonde in 1989. I'm not sure that that's 100% correct, though. She released Rockbirds in 86, and Stein did help her with that. And then in 1988, a remix album called... No, that was for the band. For Blondie, they released a remix album called One More Into the Bleach. So
really playing with the blonde thing.
Oh, yeah, they really stick with that for a while.
Sponsored by Tish and Snippy.
Yeah. She began working with Stein and Burke in 1990 to prepare for summer tour, and Destry and Valentine were contacted to discuss reuniting, but Valentine had become a full-time writer and used his real name, which was Gary Lockman. And this is funny. Members Nigel Harrison and Frank Infante tried to prevent the name Blondie from being used. They took it to court.
But, I was like, another lawsuit?
Yeah, but they were unsuccessful. In 1997, though, Valentine did reunite with them for a couple festival performances. And then the band released No Exit in 1999. And that was with Stein, Debbie Harry, Burke, and Destry.
I think I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
Was it any good?
Oh, I don't know. I just remember being like a kid. And
yeah, my sister was really into them,
around?
so I remember when she would get their albums, but I didn't listen to them at that time. Funny, because Valentine, had reunited with them briefly for that festival tour, but then Kathy Valentine from the Go-Go's, she co-authored 2 songs on that album, so it's kind of confusing when you see like her
Valentine
name on there.
Valentine.
Yeah, but it's like not him.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Maria was the big hit from that album, especially in the UK. They released Curse of Blondie in 2003, and Good Boys also did well in the UK. Destry left the band in 2004 due to his drug habit. He was trying to seek treatment. And then, is that fly bothering you?
Snatch it out of the air.
Oh, no, I'm just like trying to be like the Karate Kid and like snatch this fly.
I didn't like catch it, but I was able to like get one that was like flying around by my window, and I was really excited about that.
I know, it's like whenever it happens and like you actually like snag a fly from the midair, you're just like, God damn, I'm a badass.
I can't believe that just happened.
Like,
Yeah, because it's so hard to hit them.
I'm so fucking good with my reflexes. Like, I'm impressed with myself for like a solid like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So in 2005, the greatest hit, Sight and Sound, was released, and then 2009, they did a cover of We Three Kings around Christmas time. So that was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they put it on like the Punk Goes Christmas album?
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Funny.
So one of their members, Paul Carbonara, who had joined in 99, left the band in 2010. They attempted to release their album Panic of Girls in 2010, but the label backed out of the deal temporarily. Finally, in 2011, they were able to release it, but without any label backing, and it was a very limited release. They kind of said it was their limited edition for fans. Debbie Harry and Stein released 2 singles in 2013: A Rose by Any Name and Sugar on the Side.
Cute.
Yeah. They released album Ghosts of Download in 2014. And it seems like, they just
Ghosts
really
in
kept...
Download? What?
Ghosts of Download.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah. Weird name. In 2015, they started working on another album with Sia, Johnny Marr, Charlie XCX, and Dave Stewart. And that was recorded...
That is quite the lineup there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's for the PBS soundstage. Mm-hmm. They released Pollinator in 2017, and that was the last one that I could find information on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so their timeline was totally weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, because they just had like a couple years there, and then they're like, okay, it's been like 20 years, time to...
Yeah, and I guess she and Chris Stein are still like really good friends. They talk daily.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw a
He's a family
documentary about like the making of Parallel Lines.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't remember if it was like I rented it through Netflix, like, or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
Like the mail order one, or it was like at the beginning of Netflix, so it was available for some way or the other. But I remember watching that, and yeah, like she was still like super close with him. Like they were like totally comfortable, but like there was definitely some tensions with a lot of the bandmates. I'm sure all those fucking lawsuits had nothing to do with that.
Situation.
I still think it's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sue the band, but stay in it.
Well, that and even, suing them over the name, which, like, she and Chris Stein came up with. And that was, like, they started that band. It's weird that they tried to prevent them from using it. I think so, too.
Bitch baby, for sure.
So, okay, on to the conspiracy for this one.
When I was looking this stuff up, there was actually another conspiracy that her mom is actually Marilyn Monroe. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
That's
just funny.
cute.
Yeah, and then I think... so I tried to read
Did the dates, like, did the timing match up?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it was is I think at some point, like in an interview a long time ago, she had said that she kind of felt her spirit of Marilyn Monroe, like she felt like this connection with her. So I think it was like people just got carried away with it, and they're like, "Oh, she really, it wasn't
And
anything
she was
too
put
crazy."
up for adoption, so they're like, "But was it?"
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So it all started from, there was an interview that she gave where she tells a story, and we'll actually, talk about.
I'm sorry.
Staring wide-eyed at a fly and
fly.
trying to snatch it from the air again.
It's a little fruit fly.
Oh, I hate those. They always try to fly up your nose.
I know.
wants those
It's like the
bananas.
plague of my sleep.
Yeah. I always try to, like, anytime we have any flies in the house, I try to trap them in the bathroom before I go to bed. Just like shut all the lights off in the house and turn that one on and then go in there. It's probably more elaborate than it needs to be, but I hate when I just always think that they're going to land on my face while I'm sleeping.
They do. They definitely do, and they get in your eyes and
just terrible.
it's a mess.
We have a ton of spiders outside right now too, which is gross.
But at least they're eating the flies,
Yeah,
preventing them from coming in.
there was one
Do better.
that was on like the hose faucet, like the little thing that you turn, and I saw that, so I was trying to get that off so I could go around it. There was one like right underneath it too, so it was like trying to hide and be extra super creepy. I know.
I had a
shit.
massacre at my house last night.
Yeah.
I went outside to like leave my house, and there was like I was like trapped in by spider webs, and they weren't like
hate
little
that so
dudes.
much.
Like if they were little dudes, I'd just like break down their web and be like, "Go on your way."
Yeah.
Like keep the flies out, because like I have a mulberry tree in my backyard, so it's like fly city back there.
Yeah.
Because the tree branches are too high, so you can't pick the berries. So they just like drop, and then like all my grass is like covered in berries. So there's like literally like thousands of flies in my backyard.
Oh yeah, I don't miss stepping on those berries all the time.
It's like
staining my
totally
shoes.
ridiculous. So I'm like, yeah, homies, do your work, all about it. But it was like literally blocking the way to like get out. And it was like a silver dollar. Like it was freaking huge, and
I hate spiders so much.
It was a chonky boy. Like it was a big boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got out the raid, and I showed no mercy. I had to, and it literally took like 5 minutes for that
You have
fucker
to
to die.
sometimes.
It took a long time.
Think of
I hate
all
when you
the
walk
gross
into a
bugs
spider
that
web,
giant
too.
chunky boy could eat.
I know, but like also I'm really afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
So I don't like to kill them, but I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
I have to kill the ones out here. They're actually kind of aggressive, and when they get in the house, they like tend to go into the bedrooms where people are at, or the bathrooms, which is really gross. But anyway, so in an interview, she tells a story about an experience that happened to her in New York in the 70s, and I will let Lindsay read that.
Okay.
Keep
Okay.
it.
So this is the quote from Debbie Harry. I was trying to get a cab on the Lower East Side of the Village in New York, and it was kind of late. This was back in the early 70s. I wasn't even in a band then. I was trying to get across town to an after-hours club. A little white car pulls up, and the guy offers me a ride. So I just continued to try to flag a cab down. But he was very persistent, and he asked where I was going. It was only a couple blocks away, and he said, "Well, I'll give you a ride." I got in the car, and it was summertime, and the windows were all rolled up except about 1.5 inches at the top. So I was sitting there, and he wasn't really talking to me. Automatically, I sort of reached to roll down the window, and I realized there was no door handle, no window crank, nothing. The inside of the car was totally stripped out. I got very nervous. I reached my arm out through the little crack and stretched down and opened the car from the outside. As soon as he saw that, he tried to turn the corner really fast, and I spun out of the car and landed in the middle of the street.
Just really, really creepy. There were rumors for a while that, kind of planted that story as, for publicity for the band. Mm-hmm. But she has told the same story, kind of the same way, in several interviews since, so...
The interesting thing about that, though, is like that is literally the only account of any person ever on the record putting Ted Bundy in New York.
Yeah, he wasn't around that time.
He was
also, and so, like, that's why everyone's like, because it's like
he has so many
because he was in Pacific so many Northwest more people than mostly he was before he went to Florida after escaping jail.
He was found guilty of. There were a lot of things that he they don't know his actual count. So,
they don't.
Who knows where he could have been.
When he escaped from prison, it's like like they didn't find him right away. Like what was it, like 100 days?
When he went to Texas and
but where else was he? You know what I mean?
Right. No, Florida, not Texas.
Yeah, that's where he got all the sorority girls.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was like his typical style because he, liked to kidnap people before he raped and murdered them. But the car was a little different. People. Yeah, he didn't have any problem doing that. But that person was kind of, approaching her. She was walking down the street.
It was a white car, and he had a tan Volkswagen. Yeah, which I was thinking that's pretty distinctive, but at the time, I guess they were everywhere, so it doesn't really.
And his car didn't have a seat, but it did have like the door hardware and everything, so that wasn't stripped out. Just the seat was gone. So, because he would kind of he had like his stuff that he would hide in there that he would use when he would murder them, which is terrible.
It's interesting too. Like I read this book, "Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs" by Chuck Klosterman, and it's like one of the last chapters in that book, and he talks about like his friend. And she's, like, not making, like, a huge deal out of it, but he's, like, losing his shit over it, was, like, Ted Bundy and her were, like, dancing at a bar in Texas. Like, and she said he was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And, but she was already seeing somebody, so she's, like, not going to go home with him or whatever. And he tried a couple times, like, to, like, be like, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
And, she was like, no, okay, blah, 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 and, like, left and was fine. But he's like, holy crap, my friend could have gotten killed by a serial killer. Like, that's insane.
I feel like I hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, my mom's friend's aunt was almost a victim of Ted Bundy.
I've heard some stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
I don't think that she made up the story, though, just because she has stuck to it. And she didn't... you think that if you were guilty of doing that, after a while, you'd kind of try to, like, distance yourself from that and just not mention it anymore. But she has told the same story a few times.
Right.
So I do believe that. And there's, always like weird, lurky people looking for women walking alone.
And and I don't, who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I'm not trying to discredit her or anything.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, did he just kind of look like him?
Well, yeah, because she said he was a handsome guy, and she said he smelled pretty bad. That's why she...
Oh, yeah, I did say something about how he smelled really bad.
Yeah, he had really bad BO, so that was why she was, originally trying to mess with the window.
Yeah.
So
I keep thinking about how tiny her arm has to be to fit through
gosh. Well, that
inch and a half
because if I put my arm out of a window, it wouldn't go anywhere. I couldn't reach the handle. If it was just slightly rolled down. I wish you guys could see Kendra's face. She's got really serious.
I feel like I'm a cat right now.
Yeah.
I have ADD, so these flies. I'm sorry. I'll shut the fuck up about the flies already. But
you're fine.
I'm just being a dork.
When I was in high school, I worked at this coffee shop, and I worked a lot of nights on weekends. And afterwards I was going to a friend's house, or either coming back from a friend's house after that, and I saw this dog get hit by a car. And I saw the person just left, and the dog ran off into this field that was, right off the road. So I pulled over and put my flashers on and went down and was looking for this dog because I was like, I can, maybe I can save it or something.
Yeah.
But after I was looking for a little while, I turn around and there's this man down in this field with me. And there's nobody else around us. There aren't any houses, nothing for a while. There was some trees, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I told him what happened. I didn't even realize that it was a bad situation at first, but I told him, I was like, I saw a dog get hit by a car. And he wasn't super close to me at this point. He was, standing a little bit of ways because he was like, oh, do you need help? What's wrong? And then I told him what happened and said that I was looking for the dog. And he was like, oh, yeah, why don't we head over this way and look for it? Which was kind of into the tree line. And right at that point, I realized, like, oh, fuck, this is a really bad, like, this could be a really bad. He could be nice, but I could get murdered. So I, like, turned around and ran back to my car and just, like, hopped in and left. Like, left the guy and, poor dog.
Terrifying.
I didn't find the dog, but yeah, it was really scary
Safety
afterwards.
first.
Yeah, but so
first.
stupid. I shouldn't have, late at night, I shouldn't have pulled over on the side of the road by myself and looked for this dog.
When there is a dog crisis, like,
I know.
You don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was just so upset that, this poor dog might die because nobody helped it.
I had a weird situation once. Like, I was walking my dog, my old dog, rest in peace.
Ruby.
Yep, R.I.P. Ruby. I was, like, walking her through downtown, and this dude was like, oh, like, and just, like, talking to me about my dog, and she was like, oh, immediately taken, like, oh, this dude loves me. Awesome. And he kept on, like, trying to, like, walk with me, and I kept on, like, excusing myself and being like, okay, like, I'm gonna go. Bye. It was nice to meet you. Fuck off, basically, without saying fuck off, which I probably just should have, honestly. And then my dog started picking up on, like, how tense I was getting because this guy, like, wouldn't leave me alone. And it was, like, a solid, like, 10 minutes. And then finally, like, she was, like, growling and barking at him. Like, she was basically telling him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Which was great. I'm like,
you never know if you should be rude to him, though. Which, that's not you being rude, but he would have.
But she
sometimes
did.
that
But,
like that.
but that's the cool thing about dogs is I can read you.
That is really
and
cool.
So she was like doing that for me.
Yeah.
And so I kept on like cutting through alleyways and whatever, and I didn't want to like walk back to my house because this dude's like stalking me through my neighborhood. And so like I get home and I'm like, okay, I don't think he saw me. And I lived with a boyfriend at the time, so it was like fine, whatever. And then I got home and I was like, yeah, like I just kind of ran here, and I was like explaining what happened. And then like we look out our front window, and we had like an upstairs apartment with this big like picture window.
Yeah.
And the dude was standing outside my freaking house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so then the next morning I got up and he was there again. And so then I had my boyfriend like go and just like he was like naked, so he was just like in front of the windows like, well, hello there. Oh my God. Just like stretching luxuriously. Like I had told the dude that I like lived with a boyfriend. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go home to my boyfriend now, like whatever. Yeah. And so and then I never saw him again.
Good.
So
it worked.
I was like, just go be really uncomfortable. Like do it.
Kendra, do you remember when we were in high school and there was that person that kept like harassing my sister on AOL Instant Messenger and like kept saying all this stuff? He claimed to be our middle school principal.
Weird. I don't remember this.
Well, and he was like, because my mom worked at my middle school, and he was like, we were trying to get in touch with your mom to see if should be interested in working there again, and she was like, what the fuck, like. And so
how did you get my
name? She was like, yeah, who is this? And they wouldn't say. And then they started like saying all these things about like me and like our mom and dad, like things that a lot of people wouldn't know,
That's creepy.
It was really weird. So then I remember you were spending the night one time and Kelly kept talking to him. I'm like, you need to just like block them, But she was like 12, and she was like, no, I really want to find out who's fucking with me.
Yeah.
So they said something about like, if you want to find out who I am, I'll be parked 3 doors down from your house in a red car at this time on this night. And you were spending the night, and we looked out the door and there was a car like with the engine running down there.
Oh, I remember.
You remember that. And I'm like, why didn't we call the police or something?
Right.
Because I told my mom, and she was like, that was just one of your friends messing with you. It's probably just like a coincidence.
But it might not be.
Yeah. That's so creepy.
Yeah.
That's really creepy.
Ugh. All the creepers. Yeah.
I know.
So it's like every girl I know like has creepy stories.
At least one.
Like, yeah. Like I could go on all day, but like, yeah. Oh, I hate that stuff.
I know.
So like I'm not gonna say that she didn't meet Ted Bundy,
right? That's true.
And also like, oh, that's such an extreme too. Ted Bundy, he's got one of the highest body counts, and like I feel like there's so many more that he didn't even get.
Right?
Well, I don't. I think because a lot of those that he was saying at the end, like, oh, there's more. It was because he was trying to
buy time.
Yeah, because he really liked bragging about what he did and his victims. So I think that they have identified them, but I could be wrong. It seems like that happens a lot, though, where after someone is put to death, they come up with all these other cases that are similar, that are, somewhat similar. They say, like, oh, it could be, 10 more or 15 more.
And
But
then there's always copycats, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I totally believe her story. I just don't necessarily know that it was Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I don't think it was Ted Bundy. But
yeah, that's
although there was, when I was watching...
It might not. I mean, it could be, but...
Did you guys watch the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix? Yeah. So there was that woman that escaped from his car, and it sounded like a pretty similar situation.
Right, and that information wasn't out there when she made that statement.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Could be.
It's so scary.
Well, I think, no, because she saw some stuff about him on TV, and that's when she was like, oh my God, that, that...
Yeah, it was like
that was the guy that...
about to be executed.
Yeah, she thought that was him then. But he kind of did just look like an average guy. Yeah, he was like good looking, I guess. But so I could see where a lot of people could look like him.
I remember like when the Ted Bundy tapes came out, there were all these articles that I would read that was basically like Netflix is pissed that everybody's just tweeting about Ted Bundy being hot. It's like all these like teenagers.
Like, that guy's so attractive.
Like
I know. And Netflix
are a victim.
Wrote on there, they posted a tweet that was like, ladies, there are millions and billions of men out there that won't kill you.
Yeah.
Or like good looking men out there that won't kill you.
I don't understand, the women that write to serial killers or, have relationships with serial killers. I'll never understand that because I don't find them fascinating at all. I think they're scary, and I like reading about how people solved their crimes, but that's about it for me.
I think that, I don't know, I guess I have a little bit of a fascination with serial killers just because it's like something so opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like...
It's hard to understand.
I don't think like even if it came to a situation where it was like life or death, and defending myself, I don't know if I could actually kill someone.
I don't think I could either.
Like, I like to talk, like, I would be like, yeah, I will throw these knives and these shurikens and, like, learn how to fucking sword fight. But, But, like, it's, like, to chop their knees off or something. Like, I would definitely chop somebody's legs off. But...
Which would not, be really hard
not
to do.
at the femoral artery and all that. You know what I mean?
I'm
so
really
it's like
squeamish, so I'm like, would that just all go away if I was in like a dire situation?
Like if I had a sword and somebody was like, I've thought about this a lot.
I was gonna say,
like, if I
couldn't do it, but if I could.
No, if I had a sword, I'd probably go for the Achilles tendon before I'd go for anything else. Because it's like, then they can't come after you.
Yeah. But if they're like on top of you strangling you, you kind of have to go for their face, or like you could maybe reach around and like stab them in the kidneys if you had something.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Yeah,
I might, but like, there's no guarantee that they die.
Right?
Like,
or get in the neck. I guess I have thought about this.
So well, maybe. You kind of like. I mean,
you have to a little bit.
To.
Yeah, especially if you go anywhere alone and you're a woman. You do. Because I even took this female like lady self-defense class. Honestly.
Like, because it's like guaranteed. Like,
but you like get them, here, like right where your throat meets your like your torso, but you can get them there anywhere in the face. Like you can kind of get them, and then like right under their ribs, you get them with even just like your fingers, and it's supposed to be like so painful where you kind of have to like back up. So
under the ribs is that what you said?
Yeah, and then like at the like base of your throat. Like
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Also got this like really badass keychain when I took that class, where that you can like wrap your fist around and punch somebody with it. It's kind of like brass knuckles.
Is it the one that looks like a cat and the ears are all pointy?
I've seen those. Those are cute.
I always wanted to get
this one has like little sharp things that go through your knuckles, so it's kind of like you have
like I do that with keys.
Yeah, and you clutch your keys while you're walking somewhere alone.
Yeah, and put them between your knuckles. That way, if somebody comes at you,
you could do some like major damage to a person with this thing. Though
I've never taken a self-defense class, but I do have a friend who's a chick, and I don't think I know a dude that she could not like beat the shit out of.
Yeah.
She's badass.
That's good.
That's amazing.
Did she have brothers?
She was a traveler. She was like a train hopper and stuff like that.
Okay.
But she taught me like the fucking KO move. And it's like the closed-fisted backhand. And like and we're gonna hit them on their face, so you just break their cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like their nose or whatever, and it's like a guaranteed like they're done.
That's
she's
good.
like, I knock them out like 90% of the time with that move, but like she's had to defend herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I like that lesson.
Wonder why they don't teach girls in high school any of this stuff, because they really should.
We actually did have. I remember, like in gym class, we had. It was just like a one-day thing. Somebody came in and was kind of talking about And then when I was in beauty school, there was a guy that came in too.
Yeah, that guy came to our school too.
The guy whose daughter like got kidnapped from Target.
Oh,
I don't remember like the story, but I know
that's
something
why
bad happened to his daughter, and so he was like, "I sell all of these self-defense weapons at wholesale, and I want to give you guys basics."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like a cop,
That guy was
and
cool.
he was just like, "Yep," and like now his daughter's like got like a black belt and all this stuff too, and like it's badass, but like he's just. I thought it was pretty cool that like. He was like, nope, I'm selling it like wholesale. Like, I'm not even making money off of this. I just think women need to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. Which is like, it's so sad that that's like the world we live in. But
I know.
I think it's also pretty awesome that people are taking that seriously.
Yeah, I think so too, finally.
And now I was just thinking when we were talking about like how to kill people and stuff, people probably listening like, oh, psychos, no, we're just women and we have to think about these things sometimes.
This is like real, like this is girl talk.
I mean, even
really, like,
it's true.
Yeah, even walking in my addition, which is pretty safe for the most part.
Yeah, you live in the suburbs.
Yeah, you have to be careful when you see like a guy walking. The other day I was walking and I saw somebody. They were kind of like putting their head down and they had a hat. And I crossed over to the other side of the street, and it ended up being like this like really sweet old man. And he was like, "Sorry to kick you off the sidewalk, but it's just habit. You just kind of know,
cross.
like
You
you do, and you figure out like if I need to run, like where do I go?"
Yeah,
so
just be vigilant when you're walking.
I always stayed out of parking garages when I was younger. I still do for the most part, unless I'm with someone, because a lot of attacks happen in parking garages.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, there's like so many dark corners.
There are,
That's terrifying.
I know.
Whenever I'm walking somewhere at night, I'm always like, look, back, like left, right, back, left, like constantly. I probably look like an idiot.
Oh, for sure. I remember like one of the funnier things that happened, like this is actually a pretty good story. I was getting into my car. It was nighttime and I was like coming out of the liquor store. And I just like picked up some beer or cider or something. I was getting into my car and this like dude like sees me from across the street and like runs over. So I get into my car really fast, obviously, because I'm like, okay, like this dude is like fucking running at me.
I would have been really scared.
And then I think I was like smoking a cigarette or something. And I get into my car and he like comes and knocks on my window and I got in really fast, like whatever, and turned on my car and I rolled down my window like enough to like barely anything, like maybe like an inch. And I was like, never approach a woman in a dark parking lot. And the dude's like, oh, I just wanted to say, never approach a woman in a dark parking lot. And I'm fucking screaming at this kid. And then it just like, you see it click and his eyes go super, was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he just backed away with his arms. He's like, I'm so sorry. And then he just like turned and walked away. And like, he was just coming over to bum a cigarette. But like, it's like, do not run at women in dark parking lots, you fucking idiot. Like,
really anytime.
I was like,
even if it was like midday,
like, I would
be terrified.
It was so funny though, because it's like that dude knew that he didn't have any ulterior purposes other than like getting a cigarette from someone that he saw smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like totally
could have
get
been
it.
a dude.
But it was so funny because like the look of like realization on his face where he's just like, and you could just tell he felt terrible and he's just like, I'm so sorry. And like, but you could tell that he's also like, but can I get that cigarette? And I was like, get out of my face right now.
Like,
you scared the shit out of me.
I'm a really fast walker. I'm a very brisk walker. And I think I just unintentionally scare people. Sometimes like I'll be going into my apartment building and I'm walking really fast and like people like turn around like, who the fuck is coming up on me?
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, I need to slow it down a little bit.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing because, good to stay in that habit in case you need to actually get away from someone sometime.
True.
Plus, they say it's good exercise.
I'm terrible at running, so I should probably work on the speed
I'm a
walk
terrible
at
runner,
least.
too.
Yeah.
Because I have, really short legs, so.
I've got really bad knees.
Oh.
I just crack a lot. Very crappy
My hips
knees.
do
I should start running. It'd be like the saddest bunch of people.
We can have a podcast about that. Just discussing our running
couch
life.
to 5K thing. I think I'd be stuck on step 3 for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't like to run. I just started taking classes at the Y, and the only thing that I like to do is Zumba.
Yeah.
I tried doing Pilates, and I tried.
Did Pilates for a while.
Yeah, I don't have enough. My balance is bad. I'd rather just dance around to Despacito and, you know.
It makes sense.
I just stick with the elliptical.
It's fun. It doesn't even really,
like the treadmill sometimes.
I feel like if I was put in a situation where I had to run, though, like knee pains be damned, I would book it.
But guys are so much faster.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
I do play kickball.
Yeah. Well,
that's so athletic.
Pretend like you're trying to get home run.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I'm slowing down, but like if there was a dude with a knife behind me, like I feel like pretty confident that like all of a sudden I would be like sports genius because all that adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean people do insane things.
Yeah, I would be super athletic. Like, and then I'd probably like be in pain for like days.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't matter.
You wouldn't feel it right away.
I'd be alive. So.
Yeah, true.
Terrifying. All right, so. 2 questions. Did Blondie meet Ted Bundy?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. Definitely met somebody crazy, but
I think he probably had an uncanny similarity to him, but I don't think it was him.
I think it was just
also. I guess back then she would have fit his victim profile, like the long dark hair.
Yeah, she didn't mention because
it was before she was in a band, before she was.
Oh, yeah, it was before she was in any band, so she would have had the dark hair. I didn't think about that.
That does make sense.
Ooh.
But then,
that might change things.
Yeah.
That just occurred to me.
I was thinking, like, she's not his type.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't, like, his victim type, but
it's, like, folk band days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that either. So, I'm going to put it as a hard maybe.
Yeah.
Like, can't say yes or no. Yeah. I'm sure that something
It's all the long, dark center.
Yeah, I don't know if he was in New York.
Did happen.
But
I do believe that she was trapped
for sure.
in someone's car. Like, you don't make shit like that up.
Yeah. And maybe his car was just broken. Like the hardware was broken off of, like, because you can lose the handle and stuff. So maybe that was the case, but maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. So don't know about that. But okay. And then I guess I have 2 more questions.
I guess I just thought of something too. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go for it. No, this is great.
That was when they didn't have automatic locks yet, so that would have been a manual lock too. So she could have. You think that she would have been able to lift up the lockers?
Maybe that was the part that was broken.
That's true. Maybe that that was included in that. That makes sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and maybe he did have to come around and let her out.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Okay.
So 2 questions.
Was Ted Bundy a reptilian overlord?
He could have been.
I just don't think the reptilians are homicidal maniacs.
That's true.
I don't think so.
Because he kind of like lost his shit too. They seem a little bit more organized.
Yeah.
Because he went like real crazy for a while.
But he did escape from prison twice.
I know.
And nobody really got in trouble for it either.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to the library. That's a how I got fired story right there. It's like,
because think about how many people died because of that.
Notorious serial killer fucking escape from prison.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. But, like, I wonder if the second guy, whoever's shoulders it fell on for him being able to escape from prison a second time. Yeah. Like, did that guy get a little bit more leeway? Or, like, maybe the first guy got a little bit more leeway because it happened again in a, like, different facility. Like, were they like, oh, this is just a crafty motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the second time he lost like 30 pounds so that he could go through the tile in the ceiling and like...
That's fucking commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when he was gone forever and went to Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time
See, and it fits the sneakiness. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say hard maybe. Ted Bundy could potentially be a humanoid reptile.
The first time when he was representing himself, like when he was his own attorney, God. And he was just like, hey, I need to go.
Did he lose 30 pounds or did he shapeshift?
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, and then like was 30 pounds lighter. Yeah. There's so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. It's worth the risk if they spot me.
Yeah.
I love that I'm talking about this like I actually believe in it.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. And then
so anybody like just listening to this episode would be like, these people are weird.
Yeah. We did an episode about the lizard people. Because Billy Corgan had sex with a shapeshifter. So if you need reference material, that is what we're talking about. And it is a new custom where I feel like we just need to ask about every person. Mm-hmm. So was Blondie a reptilian overlord?
I don't think so.
I don't think she is either.
No. Yeah.
I don't think so either. She was powerful, or is, like, she's a very powerful musician, though.
Yeah. Maybe that was the Blondie hiatus, is because she was busy being a reptilian overlord. Like it wasn't drug problems and frivolous lawsuits and no.
Yeah, I don't think she doesn't also have like any claims with like Illuminati and stuff like that. So I think she's safely off the list. Debbie Harry, we love you. You're not a lizard person. Yeah.
I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and there was like this big video about how anybody that does, when you like hold your fingers around your eyes like glasses, like anybody that does that in a video is part of like this cult that's taking over the world.
Really?
I thought was really funny. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they said like anytime anybody's photographed like that they're like giving a signal like, hey, I'm part of this too. So, and there was like literally so many people in this damn video. It was really funny.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
It was just like a compilation, like showing a bunch of people doing
I
it.
just
That's
like I
amazing.
used to play a game where like it was like you would have like where your fingers are on the bottom and you flip your hands up
like
and do the
full
glasses like that.
Yep.
And like if you spotted someone doing that, like you could do make the monocle or whatever with your forefinger and or index finger and your thumb with your other fingers up, and that's how you spot it. But if you don't spot it, then like if you see the person with the glasses on, then you have to lay down on the floor. It's a pretty fun game. It got really sketchy when there was like puddles and stuff like that though.
I've like never seen anybody do this pose in my entire life.
I know.
Honestly, like I've seen people do,
but
the
it has
glasses
like
where your
Pope
hands are
Francis
flipped upside down.
and Justin Bieber, Leonardo DiCaprio,
So, yeah,
Jackie
that is kind of
Chan,
a weird.
Madonna.
That's really fun.
Yeah, like that one. Like I've seen people do that, but just the one looks kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Interesting. But yes, that's proof of absolute control by the occult elite.
But there's like pictures of like Bob Dylan doing that too.
That and like
that
every
dude, like,
little
if
kid does
anybody's
that.
like trying not to be like part of that is like a folk singer.
Yeah.
Or is he?
Right.
I'm just kidding. Well, I think that. Any last comments?
No.
No.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of Our Music Oddcast. Thank you for listening. And feel free to email us any suggestions of things that you think we need to talk about. We would love to hear from you at ourmusicodcast@gmail.com.
Or any musicians that have a crazy story that they want us to read on the recording. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
email
absolutely
us.
down for that. Like if you are a musician and you had some weird encounter, we would
please
love
send
to
it
hear
to us.
Just anything. Just talk to us.
Let us know we're alive. All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Have a good day.